Katrina, Aarsman, CEO of Pure Bookkeeping Australia. What I wanted to talk to you today is about some tips around your time management. I know when I had a bookkeeping business, I had no structure in my days or my weeks. And I found that I was very unproductive and that clients were demanding activities from me and I was just reacting. I was just reacting to clients, reacting to staff. And because I didn't have structure, because I didn't have any set blocks of time in my calendar, in my week, that it just got out of control. And I was literally just working from one request to another and not actually getting my own work done. So what I'd like to show you today is what I call a default diary. So it is blocks of time that we're putting aside in our calendar to highlight where our work can be concentrated, where we can focus our time and energy into certain areas of the day and certainly into the areas of the week. So let me bring up my default diary that I have just added a simple calendar. So it's an additional calendar in your Outlook or your Gmail calendar. And this is one that I've already set in play of what I think would be good for a suitable, just as a sample for a bookkeeping business. So what I like to do is start with adding in the time slots that are non-negotiable. Private time, like personal activities that you do, personal appointments that you might have, and then blocks of client work that you have to do on a certain day. So let me just take you through. So first of all, let's say you get up and you have some exercise or meditation. First thing in the morning, you might have some personal time, say at 6 o'clock, might be 7 o'clock a.m. And then once we get into work, you might start your work day at 9 o'clock and we're triaging your email. So with the time management tips that I'd like to include is that we don't spend hours going through our emails and answering them all and dealing with them all, because some emails might take you a half an hour or an hour to deal with. So triaging your emails is scrolling through your emails, looking at each one of them, answering the ones that you can answer within the first 2 minutes, within 2 minutes. If it's going to take you longer than 2 minutes, then put it aside so that you can work on it when you get into these client work blocks of time. So we don't deal with a half an hour email right there and then. We set it into our calendar that we're going to work on it during the day at some point when it's client work time for you. But we're just going to answer anything under 2 minutes, just move them along, delegate them, delete them if they're not important. It just keeps that the ability to be more productive, the ability to block time aside into certain areas of your day. Then Monday mornings, I do like to have a staff meeting with my staff to go through the workload that they are going to do for the rest of the week. We do want to put some times in for our sales call and our networking. So, you might have a networking appointment at 8 o'clock in the morning on a certain day or, in an afternoon, whatever. Then put aside some time for some sales calls. So actually making calls to prospects or leads, putting that time aside for that as well. I like to have a second time of triage. So you're not looking at your triage all the way through the day. You're just turning off your emails and looking at them twice a day. I like to put an hour for lunch break. Now, I know this is unrealistic. Nobody has an hour for lunch break. Well, I know I never did. But if you set aside an hour, then during that hour, there will be a time for you to have 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is that you have for your lunch break. And then, as I said, we've got these blocks of time for client work. Now, they're not specific clients that you're working on at these times, but they are blocks of time for you to work on certain clients. So it might be, review work or getting stuff done. You might have a list of clients that you need to do work for. So we don't block them down into a specific day that you're working on them. You're just allowing for blocks of time to be able to work on your clients. But we have already put down our non-negotiable client time. So this client, I need to do bookkeeping at that time of the day every week. and I've got a payroll client over here. I need to do their payroll at that time. So if there's specific clients for specific times, that's okay to block them in. All the other client work will just get done in our client specific time. So we've got a good 2.5 hours a day that we have got sit down and work on client time, no interruptions. So the idea of this is that when a client rings up and says, I would like you to do this work at Wednesday afternoon, then you go, no, I've already got an appointment. You don't tell them that you're working on your own business, but you let them know that I'm not available on Wednesday afternoon, but I am available on Thursday morning. So it gives you some structure and some rules around your own day and your own workload as well. So as you can see, I've put aside a couple of blocks of working on your own business. So this allows you to do time on your systems, on marketing, on creating a better business, whatever that is, automations, learning about a software, whatever it is that's going to make your business better, something to work on your business. It could be your invoicing. It could be automating your onboarding process. Whatever it is, put some time aside. I usually say about 4 hours a week is a good place to start. And I put in a couple of blocks here, as you can see. A couple of blocks here for new client meetings. So if you do have a client that wants to meet with you, then we've got some estimate or some recommended times that you can suggest to them. And I think that finishes off the week. I usually like to suggest at the end of the day, having a block of time, and this is only a 15-minute block, to prepare for the following day. So just reviewing what you've done that day, what you didn't get completed, and putting a list of 6 things that you need to do in the following day. And it gives you a bit of structure. It gives you a bit of habit forming to make your day, make your week a little bit more productive. I hope that helps, and love to hear some feedback. Have a great day.